Ableism. From theory to experience to practice. Challenge. Included content. Are included and inclusive the same concept? The words included and inclusive are often used simultaneously in education from early childhood through adult learning. However, the word inclusive and included often have two different connotations to the disability world. Take, for example, the picture on your screen. This is a picture taken from the New York Daily News, which shows an inclusive first grade classroom at a public school in Canada. Though this school could be almost anywhere. In the photo, a majority of the children are seated on bleachers with their teacher. But to the far right, more than a body length away from his class, Miles Ambridge sits, smiling at the camera, leaning towards the rest of his class from his wheelchair. This is an example of how many of us in the disability world experience inclusivity. We are allowed to be in the classroom, but our unique experience does not allow us to join the group. How does this link to what I already know? Inclusive education follows very strong parallels to integrated education. While laws such as the Civil Rights Act and the American Disability Act have increased the opportunities for equal opportunities, those opportunities often come at the cost of community. Students of color and faculty of color have frequently expressed the toxicity of entering a classroom as the only person of color. As a PWI, our colleagues and students are experiencing inclusivity in our institution, but barriers, biases, and systemic injustices add a layer of complexity that does not allow minoritized students to be fully included. While the image here may be dramatized for the photo, the picture of a single black student, aside from a group of white students, is often the physical and emotional space within classrooms. The same truth happens for those of us who belong to the disability world. We are at an inclusive institution without truly being included as an equal member of campus. We are separated by space, access, and structure of the higher education system. Okay, so now we're talking race too. Yes, we are. Equity is equity. The field of disability studies partners very close with the field of race and equity studies, as the foundation of the American Disability Act is the Civil Rights Act. Likewise, many of the policies that have led to biases against people of color and women and immigrants and members of the LGBT communities and are wrongly based on the idea of normalcy or deviation from a norm, also known as disability. The truth is, fields of equity advocacy are all intertwined because of a common theme: discrimination. Our goal as educators, as scholars, and certainly, I hope, as humans, is to reduce the power of discrimination through shared experiences, stories, and understanding, and by supporting this amazing generation of learners and scholars to continue the hard work of breaking down unjust societal barriers. If this comparison fascinates you, I highly recommend investigating discrit literature. I've included several resources on our classroom management site. And now what? Well, I'm going to remind you that I asked you to accept a challenge to think of two aspects of disability for including in your content area: accessible design and inclusive content. This is the start of the challenge for included content. Central to the challenge of included content is the goal of preparing our graduates to be prepared for a life where diverse experience, specifically for those with disabilities, are valued and expected. To be able to do that, they must see that the leaders in their field, us and our community partners, demonstrate 7 principles. 1. Teachers and mentors who understand their own biases, value the experience of their students, value feedback to address individual needs, and advocate for systematic changes. 2. Pedagogy, or teaching practices that are critical and focus on equity. 3. Content that includes the experiences and relevance of disability to the content area. 4. Perspectives that include multiple and sometimes opposing view for analysis. 5. Environments which are designed or modified intentionally for the ease of movement, interaction, and collaboration. 6. Learners who are taught and expected to create content for coursework that is accessible and participate in experiences. 7. Assessments that give all learners an opportunity to show their best skills and ability. 8. Adjustments that are based on feedback, needs, and both teacher and student awareness to topics.